Hi, this is 𝐬𝐻𝐾. I'm the royalty published author of the award-winning book, Juggling the Issues Living with Asperger's Syndrome, which is making a difference in countless lives around the world, in every continent but Antarctica. I'm very thankful for that. Welcome to episode 1 of Autism Real Talk. And when I say autism, I'm referring to the entirety of the spectrum, including the former diagnosis of Asperger's Syndrome, which is what I was personally diagnosed with circa 2001. I hope that you watch my introductory video that explains kind of the why of the series, like why I'm doing this and what it's going to be about, and how I hope it's going to help people get inside our minds, not just my mind, and therefore I'm encouraging other people to do the same thing I'm doing, whether they set up a blog on the internet or a YouTube channel or a Facebook page or just a group of friends coming together in their community, not having to go all across social media, but just so that people could gain not just awareness but actually acceptance to who we are, we who never had a choice in the matter of having autism or any disability, mental or physical. So that's kind of the introduction to this video. So for this first episode, I wished it was going to be something a bit more different, like maybe an object that sparked a thought and that I could go to the camera and explain it, but alas, it is something that I've seen on Facebook earlier today that kind of shook me. My heart dropped, literally, and so let me explain. But I will say this now: if you're like me and a Christian, I also refer you to read Matthew 18:15-16, as I have read it many times myself, and of course have that in the back of my mind. I do not mention any full names, and if it's a unique first name or a suspected unique first name, I won't mention it. I usually redact the last name, any pictures and such, so I'm being very responsible about that to protect identities of the people that did it to me, even if they're mean and hurtful. I'm not out for revenge. I just want them to accept us for who we are. Now let's go back to the very beginning. It was early August of 2019, and just prior to that, there was something trending on Twitter. So I answered it accordingly on Twitter, and then one of my friends who is a commander at Royal Rangers actually tagged me in it on Facebook, because it must have been trending on Facebook too, and sparking this entire debate. Now, I am going to be totally honest with you. As you know, as a Royal Ranger, I'm honest. I even have an entire chapter in my book about honesty, or short story. But honestly, it was a PEMDAS problem, and it took the internet by storm and such, so I've got to be totally honest in that, and that's what this whole thing is about. So yeah, I got caught in the debate of a PEMDAS problem. And a lot of people, mathematicians, back me up on this. I mean, I've been doing PEMDAS since the 5th grade, and I love it. I would make up hundreds of PEMDAS problems on my own time from 5th grade to the present day, if not thousands. And you know, it's because I love mathematics and such. And my friend knew that up in Bakersfield, and he tagged me in it on Facebook. So I was very appreciative, and I gave my answer. I may have backed up my answer. I know I did it. I backed it up on Twitter, but there's a person in Somerset, Pulaski County, Kentucky, who responded back to my comment and said, no, it's this answer. So we kind of go back and forth, and I was kind of loving and such, and I took, you know, as a scientist, you have to take things, you know, like don't just dismiss them, but test it out yourself, like search the matter out yourself. So I took what this person was saying, and I tried it myself, and I couldn't get the answer that he was proposing. So I sent it back to him, and finally he just says, I give up. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make him drink, and such. And I'm like, well, I tried my best. That was August 3rd, 2019, I'm sure. Fast forward 4 days later, that same friend of mine, a very good friend of mine up in Bakersfield, tagged me in another math post. In fact, he not only tagged me in the post, but he tagged me and this guy from Kentucky in the post. And so that's what I woke up to, I believe. I woke up, went on Facebook, and saw that I was tagged. And then one of the comments was from that person. And he said, please do not tag me in anything with 𝐬𝐻𝐾 again. I'm not wasting time with him, or my time with him. So that's kind of what really, set the mood of the day, and it was my mother's birthday too, August 7th, 2019. So that really left a big spot in my heart all day and night. That night was supposed to be this fun event in the community, and I just had this in the back of my mind. I didn't understand why I was being treated like this, even though I'm doing things as a Christian, and I'm hearing him out, and I'm testing what he said, and I come back proving otherwise, and I just don't understand. I mean, this guy from Kentucky, he claims to be a Christian, and I am not doubting that. On his Facebook page, there's quite a few things that tells me that he's seriously a Christian, and it's not it's not for me to judge otherwise. I personally believe he is, but he certainly doesn't act like it with me and people of autism and such. And I messaged him privately and such, and I commented to him again, just trying to be a Christian about things, and he just blew up. He literally got upset and said, "Hadn't you ever heard of I was not really wanting to be a bother, so I just had to drop it right then and there. But it did not let me forget all the horrible feelings it gave me, all the bruised feelings it gave me. I've lost sleep over Larry. I've lost a lot of time, study time. I never stopped thinking about Larry since 2019, and we're in 2021. I went to my friend in Bakersfield, and I gave him like an entire exposition of how Larry made me feel and such. And it's not against a person. I mean, I don't hate a person or whatnot. It's just, this is what happened. So I sent it to that friend, and he reached out to Larry about it. And then later I asked him, my friend in Bakersfield, "Did you hear anything back from Larry?" And he honestly told me he's just keeping to his own, and that's what he told me. And I'm like, nothing else I could do but just pray. And I can't tell you how many times I prayed for Larry, many times, along with all the other people that sent me hate comment and hate mail and hate over autism and such. So what happened today? Well, that same friend in Bakersfield, again, a very good friend of mine in Bakersfield, he just made a post. I mean, he posts many things every day, and for some reason I got a notification. I wasn't tagged in it, but I got a notification that one of my other Royal Rangers friend commented on his post. So I looked at it, and the first comment was from this guy Larry, and that is when my heart just dropped, set a horrible mood for the rest of the day. And I'm like, I've got to get on the camera and make this episode 1 of Autism Real Talk and such. I mean, I just, it brought back a lot of horrible memories all over again. I had to relive a lot of feelings that I did not appreciate reliving. But what's very peculiar is this had me just, I was just curious, so I clicked on his profile again, and I scrolled down just a little bit, and recently he did post something about autism. Here it is, about the autism spectrum, what people think it is linearly, but it's really circular. And he loves this and appreciates this. He said, "Thank you for posting this" and such. But he shared it on his Facebook profile, and it's like, well, at least he has some care about autism, just not all autistics and such. So that's all I have. It's like an open case right now. I have no idea if Larry will ever watch this, and if he does, I have no idea if he'll care about it. But going back to Matthew 18:15-16 on this, it's like if you have like an argument against somebody, go to that person, and if he doesn't listen to you, get 2 witnesses. And I went to him. He chose to ignore. I went to my friend, who I guess is like a witness, and he continued to ignore, and he's still ignoring. So I'm doing everything I can, so it's basically out of my hands now. I just continue to pray, but I think I'm justified in giving these videos, because this isn't the first person I called out in my YouTube videos, but every time I call out people in my YouTube videos, I always redact their last name and first name if it's a unique first name. And frankly, there's a lot of Larrys in the world. I went to high school with a person named Larry. I black out any picture and such because I really don't want anything bad to happen to that person. I just want them to just apologize and that we could just have a civil conversation, just, you know, back and forth and such. And that's all I want. I believe that Larry and everybody else has a purpose and a calling in life. And if any of my thoughts or line of thinkings were a bit peculiar, well, that's another thing about autism that hopefully every viewer here gets, that we amplify things, we magnify things in our mind, and if people found that peculiar, then they don't have a lot of awareness and such. One little thing in our mind just blows up into so many possibilities, which may be true to some extent, but not to the extent that we dwell over it and such. So anyway, that's my video. Hopefully episode 2 will be more like an object, like or something. But we'll see. Like I said in my introductory video, these videos are, you know, supposed to be like spontaneous. Like if something spontaneously happens, I have to talk about it right then and there if it's going to be effective and such. So, and I hope that I made an effective case right here. So again, just stay encouraged, stay strong wherever you're at, and have a great day.